Bow, 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 bow. What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Die Hard Knicks podcast. It's your boy, Die Hard Ebru, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. I got to start saying that again, man. But you know what it is, man. It's your boy, Ebru. Midday podcast. Like I said, this is getting down to the last few days of these things. Season's about to start full fledged. Home open is coming. There's a couple things we got to get together as far as training camp and stuff like that. So us talking about Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier is very important because when it comes to organic building, you have to start from somewhere and you have to build to somewhere. You can't just you can't just give it up. So, what drives me crazy about everyone this talking about this thing, there's like too many people. I feel like it's maybe more like 60-40, maybe even 70-30, where people are more for just giving away a position just because it would make you feel good about it. Like, oh, this got this, that, and the other. But there's a lot of cliche things, a lot of inaccuracies that people exaggerate to make their point more valid than the next person's point, man. And then on top of it, the gang mentality and you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. I'm smarter situation comes in, but it's not no basketball being talked about. It's just fantasy versus like people trying to speak with reason, and then in the middle it gets caught into like this battle, man. So I mean, I kind of don't want to get into that. But right now in this pod today, we're gonna talk about Quentin Grimes, quotes, his actual quotes from out his mouth. We're gonna get into some player comps from the past, and then we're gonna get into some player comps from the future, man. So it's your boy Ebru. Let's get busy on this Dynamic podcast and say good morning to everybody. You got Andy. Andy's up in here. We got Mr. Jarrell, Korean Grant. My peoples. These are my peoples here showing up here early in this these comments. And this should be a good one, man. So let's just get busy. Let me share the screen here. Put the first quotes up in here. Just build the context to this story here. So please stay to the end. Like I said, we got 3 points we're going to get to, and we're going to start it right here. So this is Quentin Grimes talking about his work in the gym this off season. Because I mean, listen, these beat writers and sports reporters, they want to get in there and ask the hard questions, right? So here we go. Let's give the hard answers. Yeah, so I mean, the sports writer is trying to ask a leading question. Hey, they had you in rumors this summer. Ha ha ha! I got you on the spot. So he gave a cliche answer. Of course, like nobody said nothing to him. It's in his agent's hand. It's in the president of the Knicks' hand. So they didn't come up with no trade. Of course, everybody talked about Donovan Mitchell. Everybody's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? So I'm quite sure, like they were kind of tired of it. But he's not gonna say, "Yeah, I was fucking tired of the bullshit." So but he basically said such. If you can lead it into that direction, he basically said that, but he said, you know what, I just focused on my working out, as he should be, as a pro. Who cares about all that? Just let's get into the workout. So there's nothing really there to unhatch. You know what I'm trying to say here? So let's push on play on the next video. All right, so Mr. I am Jarrell said there's no audio in the video. So there should be audio in the video. Man, I think just it's just so low because just the way that Grimes speaks, Grimes. So anyway, basically in this video, he just was talking about defense. So this defense conversation has to do with what's going on on Twitter, because people constantly keep saying that this guy is a turnstile. I heard that's a word that I've been hearing all summer. And it's just constantly being regurgitated. He's a turnstile. He's a turnstile. He can't play defense. He can't play defense. He's a turnstile. He can't play defense. I don't want to hear nothing about it about what he could do well. But Fournier is a turnstile on defense. So now they ask him a question about defense. This is to reinforce the fact that Quentin Grimes believes in defense. But if you interview any of our Knicks players, even the bottom person on the roster, they all are going to talk about defense. whether or not it's important, because that's what Tom Thibodeau has been saying. Defense is the most important thing is going to be happening with the Knicks. Everything that we do is going to start on defense. So every player is going to regurgitate the same thing that Tom Thibodeau's been saying. So I mean, is that because Quentin Grimes is such a great defensive player? No, it's because that is the philosophy being driven by the head coach, man. So like I said, this is not something so beautiful that I just I try, it's early in the afternoon, I know I get excited, but Jarrell said that the audio is off. So let's try this again. Let's share the screen and make sure that the audio is on properly here. So okay, share. Okay, I got it. All right, so let's see if this works a little bit better. Because I mean, Quentin Grimes talks very loud, man. Okay. All right. So thank you, Jarrell, for that pause in the story here. Hopefully the audio will be a little bit louder on this one. So like I said, without any context of me reading what it says here, let's just get into what the guy's saying, because it's important just to hear from the horse's mouth. Hopefully you can hear it a lot louder here.
It was more just kind of like getting comfortable, like he says, being playing more on the ball like how I used to be. Just coming in. I feel like when I went down to Memphis with Penny, just getting more comfortable, just getting back to what he saw from me when I was in high school when I played against him at U of H. So because I knew coming in like in the summer and then coming into this season, I would be kind of more freedom with the ball to make plays for myself and others. So just getting back to like more comfortable what I used to be playing like in high school and college and stuff like that.
You know, everyone has a point guard and three wings and a big, and in a lot of cases, the your wings are handling the point, so it's really positionless basketball. So it's get the ball up fast, create movement, and then make the right reads. And so I think he's benefited from having played the point in high school. Uh, he's been a primary scorer. I think the thing that's probably stood out more than anything else, he has a great understanding of what value shots are. His shot profile is off the chart. His understanding of what
This is
value
important
shots
to you.
are. His understanding of what value shots are.
His understanding what value shots are and his shot profile is off the charts. So anyway, this is just basically his focus on the summertime, because I'll tell you that he was a high school All American, all this other stuff. He went to Kansas, for Christ's sake, one of the top schools. So they say he was highly recruited. Coming out of the league, he played with some of the greatest basketball players that's in the league now. He played with all of them. So why isn't he? Why was he drafted so low? How come he wasn't drafted in the top, at least the lottery? What happened to him between Kansas, between him in high school to Kansas to the other team that he went to, which I forgot the name of the team, but it doesn't really matter. But Houston, it was on Houston. He went to the Final Four with that team. So what happened between in his story that now he's just a 3-and-D guy when he really should be a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So him going back to Memphis down there to hang out with Penny Hardaway, it's a good thing, because it'll get him to tap into what he used to be able to do. Get back into dribbling and stuff like that. Get back into getting to his spots to get a shot off. Off the dribble and that type of thing. We'll talk about that as time goes on. I just kind of want to flip through these interviews here, but it's time for that word unlock annoys the fuck out of me too, because all these little terms and stuff like that are becoming the top of the line cliche terms that people say in every single podcast, man, which drives me crazy. So it's just people regurgitating the same information. Like, oh, Penny Hardaway unlocked him, and this guy unlocked this guy, and this all the same terms being just spit into your brain like it's subliminal bullshit, man. Guys, people, I mean, anyway, next thing here. This is him directly talking about Evan Fournier, because of course these beat writers got to ask the hard questions, right? Hard questions and things them. So let's let it hear from the horse's mouth.
I think it's just it is. I think I knew that coming in because Evan like he earned it really his 11th year. I didn't assume that I was gonna come in. I like Tip said, you got to come in and earn it. And that's what I kind of expected going into training camp. But then I kind of got hurt, so they kind of derailed that. But I feel like he earned it. He was a guy that I had to come in and beat. I don't know how to prove myself. I just didn't get the opportunity to do that. But Evan's been my guy since day one. Since I got here, he's been teaching me stuff since last year. Him and Kimber were kind of like really my vets who really talked to me a lot on the bench before I was playing, while I was playing, and the whole time. So yeah, it would have been a great competition because me and Evan, he's a great competitor. I want to go out there and compete, so I feel like it would have been really good just to battle for that spot. But he's been helping me every day for sure.
So listen, they're trying to put these guys against each other. That's what it is. Evan Fournier, this, that, and the other. So of course, as a basketball player, as a competitor, you're gonna think that you're better than everybody on the court. At least that's what you should think. If nobody pops into any YMCA or any park thinking that, wow, man, I'm not as good as these guys, or it doesn't make any sense. As basketball, at the root of basketball, it's like hip hop. If you pull up into the cipher, it's not just okay, yeah, you just want to let people know that you can rhyme or whatever. But at the same time, you going at cats, and the cats want to battle you. They want to battle you. So, back in the days, the battling wasn't so freaking harsh. Where guys are cursing you out and doing research on you and all kind of stuff. At least back in the days, when if you battle somebody, it was okay. Listen, I got bars. All right, let me give you my bars, whatever. Then maybe the second verse might be, all right, let me get you, and then the other guy might get you back, whatever. And then at the end of the day, you just guys give each other a pound. And if anything, you guys might become part of the same crew at the end of the cipher. Now it's like all this glamorized negativity. So, I would like to bring that back into the conversation as far as like this whole stuff with all these cliche terms and stuff. So, now like it's like you have to be able to diss somebody and then make the crowd and then now that becomes the topic of conversation, not actually what happened, in the battle per se. So anyway, in the to keep that same energy too with the basketball court, of course, these guys are going to be battling each other. They're going to be facing each other. One guy's starting, one guy's coming off the bench. It's somebody that's already an established starter. Like you said, 11 seasons in the NBA, average 17 points per game. 3 assists, 3 rebounds over the course of 5 seasons straight before he came to the Knicks. Before he went to Boston actually, and then came to the Knicks. So 17 points per game for 5 straight seasons. 14 points per game a couple years, 12 points a couple years too. Last year he averaged 12 points per game. Whatever it is. Quentin Grimes has yet to do that in the NBA. So naturally, guys have to prove it. So he's been injured in preseason. Which is like the basketball gods must be satisfied. You know what I'm trying to say? The basketball guys must be satisfied when it comes to situations like this because um, you know, there's a pecking order in life, man. You have to be able to pay your dues. I put that in the title for this video. Quentin Grimes has to pay dues. Nothing should be handed to anybody. He hasn't proved anything. He hasn't proved he could be healthy because he was hurt a lot his first year. He's hurt right now in the beginning of the season. So what has he earned to just automatically get the starting spot? Just because in your mind you think Quentin Grimes plays defense for you is a turnstile on defense. So naturally Quentin Grimes should just be gifted the starting two guard spot, and that's just not the right way to go. It's not the right way to go about things, man. If anything, argue if it came down to it, if Cam outplayed Fournier and this, that, and the other, and it looks better, Cam would start at the three, and then RJ would slide back to the two. That makes more sense than just gifting Quentin Grimes the shooting guard spot. Now, listen, we got 2 games in the preseason that could actually change that scenario. So listen, for the Knicks, right, to succeed or whatever, if Quentin Grimes is outplaying Fournier to that degree, let's say in the next 2 preseason games, if he's outplaying Fournier to that degree, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But it has to be a pecking order. It has to be like evidence showing that this dude is actually earned that spot and he should take it. You know what I'm saying? Not just gifted a position. That is that it just rattles my insides, pause if you want to say that. It makes my skin crawl, because I mean there has to be a pecking order. So I mean the basketball gods has spoken. Fournier, even Tom Thibodeau gave Fournier a rest day, which is unprecedented in preseason, and especially with only 4 preseason games. Gave him rest days and stuff like that, just so Quentin Grimes can get the reps in practice and that type of thing. Because you already know Fournier already played in the summer. He's a 11-year vet. He knows how to play. He doesn't need a training camp to learn how to play. Quentin Grimes does, though. So this is a beautiful environment for Quentin Grimes to develop as a player, man. So I'm counting. I want to see what's going on with this next preseason game. Nothing was really announced about his health and what's going to happen with the rotation and stuff like that. Starting rotation as far as Wednesday, but we'll find out probably today and probably more than likely tomorrow, and we'll really get into the meat and potatoes of that conversation, man. So I'm really excited about that. Because like I said, it's not against Fournier and Quentin Grimes or who should start this and that. There needs to be an organic progression on how these guys get their spots and how it can improve the Knicks, man. So let's move this along. I'm gonna get into some player comps. So I like player comps. A lot of people always keep mentioning the same players. Clay Thompson. Why does somebody that has so many problems in his career automatically go from where he is now to Clay Thompson? Oh, he's Clay Thompson. It's like, come on, man. Like, there's so much. Like we can only go back a certain amount of years in order to get information. And if you dare go back any further, you're an invalid basketball mind. I just don't get it, man. So I mean, that's one player that people keep mentioning. People say Allen Houston because he's on the Knicks. There's various other players that people mention. If anybody wants to throw those in the chat, to as player comps and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get into some player comps that I believe, right off the bat, reminds me of this kid, man. So first off the bat, let me just pop this up here. I'll put my man JJ Redick in a position. So listen, JJ Redick right off the bat, people say, "Oh no, no, we ain't talking about this," just because you think that he's going to be a certain level, right? So let's just watch him play here. Make sure I turn the sound off and whatever here. Of course, they're not going to allow me to do that. So let's do this here. What happened? Hey,
Redick.
so anyway, JJ Redick is a shooter. So right now, Quentin Grimes is only displayed shooting. Hope I didn't have a problem with the stream there. I was got a little buzz just now. So just Quentin Grimes. I mean, Quentin Grimes right now he's only been displaying shooting. So this is essentially what he's been doing as a player right now up until this point. So yeah, coming off screens and just pulling up, getting the ball in the spot and just pulling up. So that's what JJ Redick is a master of. So is this what Quentin Grimes is going to be for us this year, especially when it comes to usage rate? Shout out to Andy. I know me and Andy was talking about this before. When you're talking about your players, if you got RJ there, if you got Julius Randle there, and if you got Jalen Brunson there, you got three players that need the ball in their hands. So that shooting guard position is not going to be a guy that's going to get touches in such a way where he's going to be Ray Allen or a freaking, like in that situation. He's going to be a guy that's going to fill in a role as a shooter, and he's going to get opportunities like this that you see JJ Redick getting. Now, athletic wise, is Quentin Grimes more athletic than JJ Redick? I don't know about that. Because up until this point, Quentin Grimes hasn't really shown any explosion, really. They're just basic athleticism. I would describe JJ Redick as having basic athleticism too. When he was younger, he used to surprise cats, and get to the rim and dunk it and stuff. But as he got older, he didn't really start to really get into the scoring thing until he was about 28. So we're talking about a guy that was drafted, pretty early, on 20, 21 years old when he came into the league, and then he didn't really start to score a lot until he got into the year 28. With the Clippers and stuff like that towards the end of his career. So anyway, that's JJ Redick. So if I can get into some stats with JJ just to put things in perspective, JJ Redick for his career, really quick. Like I said, during this time period when he actually played well, like I said, basically year 28, he averaged 14 points per game, basically straight through. He finished over 18 points per game, and in Philly when he was 34. So that's about the range for Quentin Grimes in this type of offense. With the talent that we have here and how we can fit in with the roster. Especially the way that he plays with just shooting. He hasn't really done much passing, rebounding, and that type of thing. So these numbers here with the 2 rebounds, 2 assists type of thing, that's right up Quentin Grimes' alley. Could he get more of the potential? Yeah, the potential is there, but he has yet to prove it. There's nowhere to pull it from. There's nowhere to pull it. Say that Quentin Grimes is going to average 5 rebounds, 5 assists. There's nowhere to pull it from. He has no career. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's possible for him to get there as a player, man. So let's move on to another player here. See, it's somebody that's familiar to most NBA fans. This is Mr. Jeff Hornacek, former Knicks coach. So I mean, this is another old school player here. People might not agree with this. Make sure I get this damn sound off here. Yeah, that's anyway, the sound is gonna absolutely get struck down here by the freaking YouTube people here. But just in case anybody missed that, because I had a little glitch here. This let's look at Jeff Hornacek here. So this him shooting, just getting the ball, getting shots up. Just watch him here. One thing about Hornacek, to put in more context, is that he played more of a high tempo point guard kind of style when he was in Phoenix. He played in Phoenix, I think, for 2 years, I believe, a year or two. and he actually was had high assist games, and he actually was running the offense there. So just if you're watching these highlights, he is number 14. You see him driving, not really so athletic, but able to get to spots, get into traffic, floaters, spin moves, things like that. Able to get his shot off at any time. So I could see him playing this role of a Jeff Hornacek, where he's like his option is not number one, but he's number one as far as shooting and this, that, and the other. You can see he's fiery, but not really. They don't really talk too much. That's what Quentin Grimes is. Quentin Grimes is a guy that gets fired up, when need be. But like I said, he's a rookie. It's a guy that you haven't really seen much of here. A little bit creative. Knows what he can do, and is able to make things happen with the skill set that he has here. So I can see Quentin Grimes filling this type of role here. Nice shooter, able to do little things like that. So anyway, let's get up out of here really quick. Yeah, once again, I apologize for the little glitches that's been happening here. You know why? Because the freaking the haters are coming after me. You know what I'm trying to say? So anyway, let's look at his stats. So same thing, his stats don't really blow you out of the park. But when it comes to Hornacek, same thing. Basically like 15 points per game for his career. A couple times, like I said, in Phoenix, he averaged 20, 19. He actually played his whole first half of his career in Phoenix. So anyway, like in Phoenix, he averaged like 20, 19, and a high assist, man. Look at those assists, 5, 6 assists, 5 rebounds and that type of thing. So this is where people think Quentin Grimes can be. So for people that automatically say, "Oh, Jeff Hornacek, man, this guy's an idiot. You don't know what the fuck he's talking about." Look at the stats. If you think that Quentin Grimes can give you 17 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, from the shooting guard spot, let's check out Utah when he got a little older. Still up there, 4 assists per game, 3 rebounds per game, 15 points. If you think these numbers match Quentin Grimes, then yes, Hornacek is a good comp. As far as shooting guard in the NBA and a role, that he's going to be suited for in the NBA, man. So I think that's a good comparison. Jeff Hornacek and JJ Redick. So those are two white guys, right? So that's another thing. Oh, you got why every time you talk about shooters, why you got to talk about these white guys and this, that, and the other? Listen, Quentin Grimes half white, man. His mom is white. His freaking brothers plays hockey, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? So he can identify as why he's entitled to that. So why even? I know somebody's saying it. That's why I'm saying it. So don't get that message misconstrued either. So here goes a guy here that people forgot about. That's Jeff Malone. This is a deep cut for my old heads here. And for people that might not know about him, and hopefully this stupid YouTube thing doesn't screw me over here. It's been glitchy. I hope that you guys are able to follow. So let's shout out to VO Shock. You know what I'm saying? He puts together some good videos, especially old school videos and stuff. Let's get into Jeff Malone. This is Jeff Malone, not Karl Malone. So it's very hard to watch because this is grainy video. We're talking about a guy that played in the 80s and some of the 90s here too. So you can see him driving methodically inside, a little bit of post up, not really too much a face up game, but just the high arcing jump shot that he has here. You can see him here cut into the basket, able to fade out with the jump shot. So these different shots that you see Jeff Malone taking, that's what Quentin Grimes should take there. Get the ball, fake, one bounce shot. Fast break, able to finish nice and easy. Not being so blowing people away with your athleticism. Get to the spot and get your jump shot out. You're a shooter. You're a shooter. Stop being fancy. You're a jump shooter. Everything should be a jump shot. Your jump shot is your bread and butter. Watch him just pop out, shoot. As soon as you get it, just let it go. As soon as you get it, shoot it. There's no fancy bullshit. He's still able to make the pass. That's what Quentin Grimes is able to make the pass. He's able to facilitate offense because he's a guard. Look at that. Great shooter, Jeff Malone, forgotten player, and I wish that people would talk about him more because I'll get into his numbers in a second. Because if you want to talk about prolific scorers, this guy Jeff Malone was actually a big time scorer in the NBA. That's forgotten that nobody talks about because they always want to talk about the same damn players. So you watch a couple more moves here. Nothing simple. As soon as he gets it, pulls up, shoot. As soon as he gets it in the spot, pull up, shoot. Because that's what he is. Look, gets the ball in the open spot, pull up, shoot it. That's what we want Quentin Grimes to do. You're a shooter, get the ball, pull up, shoot. Cut the bullshit. No fancy bullshit. Let's get into some numbers with Jeff Malone. Jeff Malone, like I said, where's he from? He's from Mobile, Alabama. So this is one of the old school, tough guys here. Look at the stats here. You got 22 points per game, 22 points per game, 24 one year. So for his career, he averaged about 19. He did that all the way up into his basically his 33rd year in the NBA. Bounced around a little bit. He spent most of his time in Washington. He also was in Utah before Hornacek got there. Then he went to Philly for a couple years at age 32, still getting buckets and stuff. So this is a guy that I think is a good comp for our guy Quentin Grimes. As far as assists and rebounds, 3 and 2, that's about even. Beautiful percentages across the board. So that's a good comp for him, man. So let's get into today's NBA. So I hope everybody's following. So before we get into today's NBA, that's a spoiler alert about what I'm going to talk about on the screen right there. But let's get into who's here in the chat here. Like I said, there's a little glitchy this morning, which is mad freaking annoying. Every time you do a live, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm taking a look here at my comments here. So we got Canal is here. Shout out to Canal. Canal's a big supporter of the pod too. Big salute to Mr. Canal. Who else we got here? Make sure whoever's probably Bodega Wi-Fi. Honix Honix said called KP a pussy. Haven't we all? Haven't we all? You know what I'm trying to say? So Geraldine is here. We got Quinten Gilliam. Wrong. Wrong. One drop is black. One drop is black. Yeah, okay. See, people gonna say what they're gonna say. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back into the mix here. This is 3 points made in the NBA. So we're gonna go there, right? So if you want to talk about best in the NBA, I'm not sure if you guys can see that too clear. Let's make this a little bit bigger. All right, that should be a little bit better for you guys there. So anyway, 3 points made. Let's look at the top players there. Stephen Curry, 285. Buddy Hield, 262. Fred VanVleet for 242. Oh, look at that. Evan Fournier already on the roster. If you want to talk about a player that player comp, Evan Fournier is a good player comp for Quentin Grimes. Because like I said, if you go through Fournier's career stats, what people seem to forget that Quentin Grimes averaged like below 10 points per game. He hasn't done that since the beginning of his career. He's been a double-digit scorer his whole career, outside of his rookie years with Denver. Denver didn't give him the opportunity to be a starter. But he went to Orlando. That's when his points per game went up. And like I said, 5 straight seasons, 17 points per game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds for 5 straight years before he went to Boston and before he came to the Knicks here, man. So Evan Fournier needs more respect put on his name, man. The guy is a good basketball player. And just for him to get 241, top 4 in the entire NBA, and we didn't even go to him. He was reduced to just being a spot-up shooter. With the Knicks, when this guy has so much more to give in his game, that's been proven already so many different times. So anyway, you can also point out that Fred VanVleet was hurt a lot of the year, and Stephen Curry was hurt a lot of the year. Some of these other guys were hurt too, 60-something games you can see down there. Not too many though. Donovan Mitchell, so these numbers could push him up. So, but regardless of what you say, top 4 is top 4. If you want to push him down to maybe 6 or 7, he's still top 10 in the NBA and 3 points made. You know what I'm trying to say? So this guy is a good comparison for the Knicks as well. Let's find out where Quentin Grimes is. I might break my finger scrolling here, because I do have it notched. Oh, there goes Quentin Grimes. He's number 171 in shooting guards for the NBA. It makes okay. So of course, 46 games. Kemba Walker played 37. They're basically neck and neck at 73 and 72. So if Quentin Grimes was to get the same amount of minutes and stuff like that, could he be up there? You can make that argument, but we don't have to go that far. Let's move up to where I should have highlighted it. I don't know if I passed him, but we're gonna move up into. Let's see if we can find our boy RJ Barrett. So I'm going too high now for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is definitely not that high. So RJ Barrett is above him. Then let me. I should have highlighted it, but I did not do that. So RJ Barrett, where are you at here? He's over here somewhere. Mine eyes have deceived me. He's over here somewhere. Patrick Beverly, you got Darius. There's plenty of 3-point shooters in the mix here. Even Chris Stapps and Russell Westbrook and many of your favorite players that people like to talk about. Now I can't see him. If you see him, you see him, but I can't see him. But anyway, there's plenty of shooters here. You want to talk about Paul George? He only had 91, but of course he only had 31 games. Who else we got here? We got Gordon Hayward. He played 49 games. He had 86. Let's keep going up here. Let's look at Klay Thompson. He played 32 games. He still had 114, which is crazy. Let's get somebody that's been here for a while. Let's see. Royce O'Neal had 119. You got Julius Randle. There goes somebody that we could point to. Julius Randle had 120. So if Julius Randle's getting 120 and Fournier's getting 200 or something, then you assume that somewhere in between there that maybe Quentin Grimes could have fit in there if he would have played more games, right? So let's get into guys like Anthony Simmons, 179, Justin Holiday, 177, D'Angelo Russell, 176. So can he get into the mix and get numbers, get these numbers around these guys like Tyler Hero and stuff like that, Darius Garland, Malik Monk, all these different guys that were able to get close to 200 3 points made in the season. Reggie Jackson, who else we got here? Chris Middleton, some of these guys here. Kevin Huerter. Huerter's a guy that could be comparable to Quentin Grimes, 163 points made. So is Quentin Grimes in this league here? Is that asking too much? Or is he in this league? Grayson Allen is another guy, 159. Is he in this league of Kendarius Post? Pope, excuse me, 149. Is he in this league? He should be able to. This is like basically NBA standard here. He goes to CJ McCollum is another guy that people want to compare Quentin Grimes to, 182, 3 points made. So can he fit into this boat here to get these numbers, as a player for us? It's very possible. You know what I'm trying to say? But we can't disregard the simple fact that Fournier is up there in the top 10. Top four, like I said, people could argue that for some other guys got hurt, they would have pushed the numbers up and this, that, and the other. But it is what it is. Here's one guy I wanted to point out. It's Mr. Sadiq Bey. That people say that RJ, there's no way you can't compare him to RJ. RJ's head and shoulders better than him. The guy made 211 3-point shots, played every single game for Detroit. So his career is just as on the high as RJ is. Maybe his percentages are not as good as some of these guys at 34%, but 34% shooting. But look how many attempts he put, attempts and makes. 211 with 610 makes. I mean attempts. Come on, man. If this guy can clean this up and get it up to 38%, maybe in 37%, he can get up there close to some of these guys in the top. So I'm just shouting out Sadiq Bey, just to put that into context, man. So this is where Quentin Grimes competition is there. Can he get to the point where he's going to be chucking up threes the way Malik Beasley does? And Malik Beasley does it off the bench. You're gonna talk about minutes too. He's right behind Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier had more minutes than Malik Beasley, but it's still neck and neck in 3 points made and stuff. So I mean, is he gonna be that type of 3-point shooter? Is that what people want? Of course. Buddy Hield, I don't necessarily like his game so much. He did pretty well against us in that preseason game. I like the way that he was playing. But can Quentin Grimes get to that level where he's chucking up that level of 3 points? Like, do we need him to do that? So these are questions that need to be asked and answered outside of just give him the spot. Just give him the spot. He earned it. Fournier is a turnstile. Instead of going straight there, what? Let's have a basketball conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the stats and let's talk about how he fits in the mix of all these names that I mentioned. There's so many different names. Max Struss, is he as good as Max Struss? He has to prove it. He's not better than Max Struss yet. He has to prove that. So many different names here that you can mention. But these guys are all in the mix within each other. Luke Kennard, is Quentin Grimes better than Luke Kennard? He's not proven it yet. Luke Kennard 190 makes in the NBA. 40 was this at 44% from three. He has to get there. So I'm hoping that he can. I'm hoping that he can get to the level of like a Jordan Clarkson and these guys where they can do some ball handling and possibly reach heights of some NBA greats like JJ Redick, Jeff Hornacek, and Jeff Malone. Hopefully he can get to the ranks of those caliber of players, and then at least be in the same conversation with his peers without it being given to him and enforcing him to do something that he's not ready for. You know what I'm trying to say? So anyway, that's your boy Eru trying to get some Quentin Grimes and Fournier talk. Hopefully that people stuck around and got the whole message, because a lot of people hear one thing and they cut me off and then they go into the comments and start their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But let's put the kid's face here. I believe in the kid. That's number one. I believe in the kid. He comes from a good family. Everything that comes out of his mouth has been great. Everything that he says off the court has been great. Just watching him play, and we haven't seen him play in a long time. Let's keep it a buck. But when he plays, that he talks, he communicates this and the other. There was a couple times last year where he actually pulled the guys together when they were like sulking and stuff. Hey, yo, come on, man, put it in, that type of thing. Being a leader, so he has potential to be a leader, man. So I'm excited about this kid's growth and how we can compete. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau gave Fournier the day off, quote unquote. Cam Reddish was given opportunity to do something. He has yet to really move the needle at all, even though he has been playing well, but he hasn't been able to say, okay, well, let's start him. There's another guy. People say, yo, we need to start Cam Reddish. All right, so we got to start Cam Reddish and start Quentin Grimes. So where the hell does RJ go? So it doesn't mean, it's just nonsense to me. It's nonsense to me. But anyway, at the same time, in the grand scheme of things, 10 guys, we need all 10 guys to be successful, good basketball players for this team to be successful. So it's not about elevating Quentin Grimes and pushing Fournier out of here. Let's trade him and get the fuck out of here. No, Quentin Grimes is a potentially a good player. Fournier is a good player. Well, how can we put these guys in the mix together to win as a team? Because that's when it comes down to it. Outside the Die Hard Knicks podcast with all this merch and stuff, this is the only thing that matters. The New York Knicks. Can we become a cohesive unit? Not just 1 through 5, not just at one position. Oh, we got to give this guy more shots than that. No, let's talk about team basketball because nobody's talking about team basketball. Everybody's talking about that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, I'm giving you something to talk about. And then for those that are not that are more interested in basketball conversation, hopefully you got through this podcast and now you're able to make something happen in those conversations, man. So who else we got here? I see there's a little bit more activity. A piece of Sherman. What's good, Sherman here? Grimes' biggest attribute is his complete game. Absolutely. And how's that complete game affected the team? Completely, right? So we're gonna need all of our players until the trade deadline comes and we make a decision where we can pawn some guys off to possibly get better. But at the same time, Quentin Grimes could be that guy that we're trying to get. If you feel me. But he has to prove that. Like I said, it cannot be gifted to him, man. Man. Yeah, State just unsubscribed to the channel. I haven't spoken to State in a while. I don't know if you guys noticed he hasn't been on the channel. I haven't actually hit him up in a while. So we gotta try to make that happen. Maybe this week sometime. What else we got going on here? I'm a Starks hater and glad someone took the title. Yeah, I'm glad. Starks is another guy. He came out of nowhere. Starks was not gifted his position. Starks played well enough where the Knicks said, okay, we can pawn off Gerald Wilkins, elevate John Starks, and pawn off Gerald Wilkins. They make the team around us better. And then the Knicks went and drafted Hubert Davis and this, that, and the other, and went another route to build up the backcourt while we were certifying the front court, to battle, Jordan. We were trying to get more bodies up front to really punish teams in the NBA, and it worked. You know what I'm trying to say? So, but John Starks was not gifted anything. John Starks was bagging groceries. Somehow through the grace of God, basketball gods injured him, so the Knicks didn't waive him because the Knicks were going to waive him, but he got injured. They had that rule at the time that if you're injured, you can't get waived. So John Starks was gifted a gift from the basketball gods for him to get opportunity to get that. And then once he got that opportunity, he took it. And the Knicks noticed, and then they elevated him up there because he deserved it. I don't want to elevate anybody if they don't deserve it yet. Right now, Quentin Grimes does not deserve any elevation yet. Like I said, 2 more preseason games. He has plenty of time to prove it. Obviously, from what Tom Thibodeau said in the earlier interviews, they see it. They see the gift that the Quentin Grimes has, but it's all about him proving it, man. Same thing with Cam Reddish. Everybody can see the gifts that Cam Reddish has, but he has to prove it, fam. He has to prove it. Sadiq Bey is one of the worst offenders in the NBA. Do you mean defenders? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, man. But he could be the worst and worst whatever in the NBA. But the guy's still at the top of the leaderboards as far as certain stats. So the guy is not trash. He's not trash. Okay, you mean one of the worst defenders in the NBA? If you say so, that's what they say about Evan Fournier. So anyway, he's one of the worst defenders. Let's see what happens when we play game 1 at the home opener. Hopefully the Knicks come out and play, and these Detroit Pistons don't embarrass us on opening night, man. So I mean, it can happen. Most of Canal points out that most of Quentin Grimes shots are threes, which is true. Quentin Grimes has not proven that he can do anything else but shoot threes. So I would like to see him take advantage of that jump shot all over the court. So the same way I was talking about with the Jeff Malone comparison, the Hornacek comparison, and the JJ Redick, shoot is shoot. So if he can get into a spot and get a ball fake, one dribble and shoot it, he needs to do that almost every single time. Because if you're a shooter, you can shoot the three so well, then those in between shots should be money in the bank, man. So if he's gonna make that next level, he's gonna have to show that he can make those shots, not pass them up to give another guy end up being a center shooting a 3 point shot. Sometimes you just need to score. You need to just play winning basketball. Put the ball in the basket and worry about shooting, multiple threes, for the team later on. Get the points on the board. What else we got going here? Salute to everybody. Everybody saluting the fuck out of each other like we in the army and stuff. When did that become a thing in Knicks in the Knicks fandom? I know I do it. At the end of the podcast, I do the salute thing. But when did that become the thing where everybody does that salute all the time? Shout out to Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie took it to the next level. Everybody's basically copying Jay Boogie. But before that, the salute thing, where did it come from when it came to Knicks basketball and things of that sort? Fournier is talking about Fournier can shoot. His defense is garbage. He means garbage. I get it, man, but that's something that needs to be like that. This talked about way too much. It's talked about way too much. Let's talk about basketball. Let's talk about basketball conversation. Not a fantasy conversation. You know, Fournier should come off the bench. Okay, cool. Let's have a basketball conversation though. Giants are 4-1. Let me see. Shredded. Reddish should start. But listen, see. This is the thing. Fournier. Sherman, you're saying, yeah, I'm singling you out because you're the only one really talking at the moment here. But you said Reddish should start. Grimes and Fournier should come off the bench. Okay, I get with that. But what has Reddish done so far to make you come to that conclusion? Now listen. Here's the thing. Reddish did play really good defense. Plus or minus, if you want to say, was pretty high for somebody that didn't really contribute scoring wise, right? So I mean, if you want to talk about complimenting those big three that I talked about, Julius Randle, Brunson, and RJ Barrett, then it makes sense because now you're talking about Cam Reddish playing a role, a big time role where he's not going to get the ball at all. You're talking about options and all this. You're talking about somebody that's probably a less of an option than Mitchell Robinson at this point now. So which is not a bad thing because Cam Reddish does a great job playing defense and this, that, and the other, and moving the ball and playing the team game. And not for nothing, he looks like he don't want it anyway. So him starting, keeping it in a basketball conversation, yes, that makes sense. So if you want to have Fournier and Quentin Grimes coming off the bench as shooters, that could work as well. But there's a problem with Rose and IQ. There's a problem with those two players because they take up two guard spots. So then where does Fournier with his Quentin Grimes play? Quentin Grimes, you don't need him playing small forward. He's just not tall enough. You want him playing in the backcourt. You don't want him being bullied by small forwards. On the other hand, Fournier, even though he's not a good defender, him being on a bigger player would be a little bit better because of he's 6'8", number one. Fournier's 6'8", and give credit to his judo skills. Maybe he's able to get to use that to help out defensively. But I don't want Quentin Grimes guarding guys 6'8" and better, and 240 and that type of thing. Because that he shouldn't be doing that. So that's going to be an issue. Somebody's not going to play. Somebody's not going to play because I find it hard to believe that we're going to play 12 men. Because we could play 12 men, but right now with Fournier, let's say if you want Fournier and Grimes off the bench with Rose and IQ and all this, that leaves us 11 men. 11 men, and then now you don't even count some of these other guys that should also be playing too, because they've been showing that they can play too. So where do you draw the line? You have to draw the line somewhere. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Tom Thibodeau chops this thing down. Absolutely, we got to go 10 deep. We can't go no lower than that in the rotation. So I don't know how he's going to get through this, man. So anyway, Sherman, like always, you always bring something to the conversation. So the whole group of your comments together build a good conversation for basketball. So you guys talking about some old school stuff. Yeah, the Knicks ran through a lot of shooting guards, ran through a lot of talent back in the days. We also had Matt Barnes too for one season when freaking stupid as Larry Brown was the coach. Shout out to CA fans here, CMAC. Eru's one of the worst defenders in the NBA. I'm one of the worst defenders in NBK. How about that? NBK. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. I gotta get myself into shape before I can start talking anything about basketball wise for myself, at least. Why didn't he stay with the Knicks? Because at the time, it was really about veterans and stuff like that. And Doug Christie would have been perfect to play on the Knicks, but they didn't give him that opportunity just for the simple fact that we just had our own guys, and that's just how the NBA was back then. Doug Christie went on to play I think he played with Toronto. He did well in Toronto, and then he went on to Sacramento. But the Knicks could have easily kept him. We had John Starks, and salary caps and all this stuff was way different back in the days. So there's a lot of factors of why Doug Christie didn't stick around. But Doug Christie went to Toronto and busted ass there, and he went to Sacramento, did the same. You know what I'm trying to say? So he definitely would have been a good Nick. Not even gonna hold you. So what else we got going on here before we get up out of here? Uh, yeah, that was a big thing. The two former Knicks, man. Both of those guys should have been Knicks. With the energy they displayed in those Lakers and Sacramento series, both of those guys should have remained Knicks. We should have figured out a way to keep them on there. But like I said, there's so many different things going on with the Knicks that you can't even you have to go back and really look and really do like a documentary on why the Knicks passed up so many different things, man. I don't know if anybody has the heart to even go down that route. There's so many different books out there about, the same shit. 1994. Oh, blah 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 blah. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, but let's talk about some other stuff. There's so many other stories that's not uncovered in the Knicks lore that people keep rehashing the same fucking stories. It's like annoying. The same thing like with what I mentioned, guys like Jeff Malone and Jeff Hornacek, and I'm quite sure everybody's side eye sucking their teeth and stuff like that. But nobody talks about those players anymore. They keep talking about the same fucking guys. I would like to see these scholars and experts and stuff like that talk about something different, man. You know, but by repeating the same shit over and over, don't make you slick. Don't make you sound slicker than the next person, man. It's ridiculous. CJ Mack, why is there such a fascination with Quentin Grimes? He's just another Frank Ntilikina. I don't know about that. Frank Ntilikina. I was getting on him so hard because I did not see the player. People kept talking about his wingspan, his height, and the potential. They're holding him back, this and the other. Now the motherfucker not even in the league, man. I forgot who he signed with. He signed with somebody. I don't know if he re-signed with Dallas or whatever, wherever he is. That guy is trash, man. Is he better than me? Yes. Can he help a team? Yes, but not in the rotation. He should, Frank Ntilikina should never be a rotational player. He should be a guy that comes in there if due to injury. That's who he is. Because for all the potential that he has physically, he just doesn't have it. I don't even think he likes the game. He likes to play defense and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe he's doing research for his new cologne or something like that, getting close to guys, smelling them to see what kind of cologne works best on people. I don't know. Let me see here. Uh, wouldn't mind IQ being packed with our picks to move up. That's a possibility, Canal. Absolutely, that's a possibility. But like I said, I don't want to talk about the draft at all this year. Let's wait till June for all that nonsense. I don't want to talk about the draft at all. Trade deadline, we'll see around Christmas. Of course, we'll see too, because trades really start picking up around that time as well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to KP. KP was traded pretty early. So it's possible that we can make moves later on down the line, but there's so many different question marks that need to be answered. Shout out to Sherwin. Sherwin brought up the fact that Cam could probably start, but like I said, in that role, not as no big time scorer, nothing, being in the role, that could possibly happen. But all that stuff has to play out this season. If those questions could be answered, then we can move on and start talking about trading these picks. But absolutely, your IQ could be moved. Based on what I'm seeing with him, I don't think he's improved enough. And stuff like that. But and we have excess and talent. So Quentin Grimes could be a guy that we can move on from. It will hurt to see the kid go because you love him. You watch the kid grow. He's a good kid, good heart, and a good person. But it's all about the Knicks. It's all about the Knicks when it comes down to it, man. It's all about I don't own a Knicks jersey, current Knicks jersey. I only own my own jersey. It's all about the front of the jersey anyway. It's all about the New York in the front, the Knicks, you know. Kareem Grant was around for Larry Brown. He said Larry Brown was a major disappointment. He pissed away his contract, and he did not care about his legacy when he was here. He was literally starting guys due to their home court. Look that up. That's not me just saying that. Look if you dare look up Larry Brown. Yeah, man. Not for nothing. Larry Brown was one of the best point guards the world has ever seen, too, man. You look that up also. He was one of the best point guards in the ABA at the time. The ABA was the other league. It was the NBA and the ABA. Larry Brown never. I don't think Larry Brown played in the NBA, but when he was in the ABA, he was one of the best point guards over there. So do that research too and check out his playing career. He actually was a good point guard, very tough. Good on ball player when he was in the ABA. That's something that people don't really talk much about either. I could care less because I can't stand Larry Brown. Bodega Wi-Fi, Larry Brown, Bench and Marbury, Mobley, Francis. Yeah, man. But Larry, like I said, Larry Brown, his situation was different because he was doing it out of spite. He wanted the Knicks to fire him, so he was just like starting guys according to hometown. Look at that year. How many starting lineups did we have that year that Larry Brown was the coach? It was crazy, man. That guy is a piece of shit. Let me see. Yeah, Quentin Grimes is a good passer. He sees the floor well. He's a good leader. I think he has those intangibles that'll help him, become a really good basketball player. I think he's very valuable. He's very valuable. There's a reason why that we didn't make this trade for Donovan Mitchell because it's not necessarily just about him. Quentin Grimes being untouchable. Is the fact that Utah wanted RJ, Utah wanted possibly Obi or IQ and Quentin Grimes plus draft picks. Man, kick rocks, man. Kick rocks. It was way too much. Especially with what we're seeing from Donovan Mitchell over there in Utah. I mean, over there in with the Cavs so far. He still looks the same, but in a different role when he's not the main guy and there's other better players on the roster. And a different coach with a different mindset. Donovan Mitchell could look a little different next year. We'll see. Let me see here. Yeah, bring the intangibles. He's a better rebounder, but he's like I said, he's got to prove it. Definitely got to prove it over time. Let me see what Andy's talking about here. Andy, if Tibbs holds IQ accountable for his bad shots, listen, might show we ain't BSing with this coach. We'll see. We'll see. Thing accountability with everybody. That's another phrase that's being used too much in basketball sectors, man. But when we say accountability, it means different than when somebody else says it, though, Andy. I think you agree with that. People say accountability if it prays into their narrative. You know what I'm trying to say? So anyway, what else we got going on here? You don't believe that rumor about Grimes? So I'm trying to see what the rumor is. What were you guys talking about? Maybe I missed it, or maybe I said something I just don't remember. Miss Geraldine. But anyway, let me see. Okay, well, I mean, we've all basically saying the same thing. Grimes have one problem, and that's RJ. See that's the thing. We can't put our players against each other. One problem against another problem. It's not really a good conversation to have. Like I said, basketball is not played one on one. If it was one on one, Cam will destroy the whole league. Because Cam Reddish one on one is probably like one of the best one on one players in the NBA. But if it comes down to team, you're just talking about playing within the team concept and being a leader and fitting in with amongst other your peers and stuff. It's a whole different scenario, man. So like I said, the Knicks' best asset right now is the fact that we can go 10 deep, 10 strong players, 10 strong players that could be easily switched. You know what I'm trying to say? Say like we can easily start Obi over Julius, and I don't think anybody would be so upset about that. We could do the same thing with RJ and Cam. Switch them. I don't think anybody would be so upset if Cam, let's say if Cam was doing what he could do offensively. I don't think anybody would really complain so much about that. If Cam is doing what he needs to do, but he's not though. So I mean, I'm just talking for conversation. If Mitch between Mitch Robinson and iHeart, these guys are very similar too. So if they swap positions, I don't think anybody would be mad about that because iHeart can shoot that three and he could pass better than Mitch can. So I don't think anybody would be so upset about that because it wouldn't change the landscape of the Knicks. Because I mean, guys are still going to get the same minutes they're going to get, but it's just about starting and finish. I don't think anybody would care. Jalen Brunson is another story. Jalen Brunson solidified at that point guard spot. But if Quentin Grimes and Rose, between those guys, like if they were the starter, I don't think it would make up much. Get what I'm trying to say? We can say that about every single position. Like I said, it's a little ridiculous when you start talking about Jalen Brunson, but for the most part, we could put a solid player. Let's say if Jalen Brunson was hurt, God forbid, we can easily stick IQ there and we probably would be fine. Because we have Derrick Rose to fall back on. Same thing if IQ was gone and Brunson, we got Rose is sticking there at the starting spot, and then we still got Deuce McBride. So I mean, we can just go on back with the team, and we will be nice and functional. Whether or not it would translate to wins is another story, but we could be functional as a team, going forward, man. So you can say that about every single position that we have. So that's a great asset, and basically our greatest gift this year. And it's not something that we should be putting guys against each other, like Fournier versus Grimes and Fournier versus Grimes versus RJ and RJ versus Cam, and Julius versus Obi and all these verses and stuff. It should be about the team. It shouldn't be about this. It should be about this. And if we can get this, then we can get this. And if we can get this, then we can pray like this. Hopefully, we get a championship this year, man. So I mean, That's wishful thinking. But in order for us to even talk about that, we have to get through these conversations here to get us to where we need to go. So anyway, I'm trying to get done with this pod. I don't want to be too long because I'm already getting close to an hour already talking to myself. Like what's the name? Jarrell said that's my superpower. I can sit and talk to myself for hours upon hours. But that is a gift, and I enjoy it, man. I enjoy talking Knicks. Hopefully, guys that are popping in now into this podcast could please go to the beginning of the pod and get through everything I'm trying to get through because everything I'm trying to get through is getting us to this position here. So I really would appreciate that too. And also, too, just for before you get up out of here, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and subscribe. There's a lot of people that follow this podcast that follow all the time because I see the numbers. People are coming in and consistently, whether or not they watch it live or go come back for the replay. They're watching a good percentage of the videos, but the people that are watching the videos are like half of them are not subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So if you enjoy the pod, if you enjoy hanging out with me, because I enjoy the interaction with the fans too. I would like more people to contribute to the chat as well. Because I mean these guys, I was like Sherwin, Jarrell, and everybody, and Geraldine. All you guys are basically my six men. You guys are the ones that help the show go on. I could talk to myself all day long, but you guys coming in here just makes it more intimate. So if you guys could contribute to the live chat and also the regular comments as well in the video, I would appreciate it because I answer to everybody. I see everything, and I really would like to continue that going. Um, the video I saw you were the best one-on-one player. Yeah, whatever, man. Listen, I used to be a good basketball player until I met my wife. Once I met my wife and I got two more kids, the basketball kind of went out the window. So hopefully I could find it this winter time. I have big dreams to lose the weight again. So if I could lose the weight and get myself back into shape, then we'll see what I can do next year, physically and stuff like that, man. So we'll see. Hopefully by the end of the season, or maybe even by mid season, I might be close enough to be, dribbling that basketball in a competitive way with my peers and stuff, man. So let's see what Geraldine's saying. Geraldine put a big comment here. I remember doing the draft. We tried to trade up and get Ivy. We were all turned down by the Kings, Detroit, because they all said that we had a bunch of bench players. But all I hear is let the kids play. Yo, Geraldine, you spitting facts, man. But listen, man, people gonna throw tomatoes at you for saying shit like that. It's facts. I agree with you. We were gonna trade the whole bank for Jaden Ivey. Everybody was pissed off that we didn't do it. Remember that? And then Donovan Mitchell all summer, everybody was pissed off that we didn't, after the fact. I pissed off that we didn't make the move. But listen, when it comes down to it, right now, the best move to make was no move, because right now we have a lot of potential on the roster. And then uh, Leon Rose said that we will continue to be aggressive. So that's important too. So we're going to continue to be aggressive. So there will be a point where some of these guys are going to be put in the hat and put in an envelope, I should say, and shipped out via UPS. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, man. So shout out to everybody, man. Thank you for guys for popping in here. Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, you guys are good. Shout out to Jarrell. Shout out to Andy. Andy, I know I can hit you up, man, but Andy, I got a sickness. I got to get these bars out. I can't keep them in my head. I can't be interrupted. Let's see what's up with Walter Torres, man. He said, "Evo, thanks for keeping it real with the facts. No rumors and assuming Brunson and Fournier are going to surprise all the haters." It's not a surprise though when these guys are like, because like I said, Fournier, I believe is going to turn 30 soon. If he's not 30 already, I think he's going to turn 30 soon this month. So I mean, the guy's still pretty young, not for nothing. So, and he has a what do you want to say, like a career to go from. So it's not going to be a surprise. Fournier is going to do what he does. Same thing with Brunson. Brunson has a career. Brunson is not young either. Brunson is like 27, right? 26, 27. So he's pretty old for a guy that's quote unquote young, right? So why you want to play one old guy and not the next and say play the youth? But where Brunson is not young. Brunson in basketball years is pretty old. You know what I'm trying to say? So, it is what it is. I think, Walter Torres, I think that Fournier and Brunson are gonna do what they do. Now, if the course of the year goes on and Brunson and this guy Quentin Grimes really shows that he's that guy, then he might take Fournier's spot. And Fournier might be like, okay, I'll do it. I'll take the bench role because this kid is ready to go. You know what I'm trying to say? So I mean, a guy like Fournier, of course, is competitive. These guys, they want to start. You got to take it from me. But if this kid Quentin Grimes is really the truth, like they say, I don't think Fournier is gonna have a problem coming off the bench. I don't think that will be a problem when it comes to Evan Fournier. So that's leadership. I mean, we need that. We need that in our troop there. So We see Joe White. We see what you're saying. That Brunson is the same age as Obi. So if Obi equal young Brunson, yeah, I'm telling you. Listen, say state facts, man. That's facts. Let's keep it real basketball conversation instead of like the fantasy, because fantasy narratives and this that and, this that and the other. Okay, you could say that, and if you say it more spicy or more louder, it doesn't make it right either. Doesn't make it right. Just like lower your voice a little bit. What I'm trying to say, and the truth is, like I said, Obi is not young. He's old. He's pretty old. Julius Randle is not old. He's still in his 20s. What I'm trying to say. So all these guys are like around the same age. They're in the same age bracket. When it comes to the NBA, like especially back in the days, guys' careers were over at 30. Now, it seems like everyone's starting to move up into the 30s now, into the late 30s to play, but not everybody. Once you get to 30s, you're basically at the end of your career. Because after 30, you're talking about maybe 5 more years if they're gonna be playing at a high level. Guys like Melo going playing all the way up until they're 40, damn near. LeBron playing at the highest level up until he's 40, which is crazy. It's very rare. It hasn't really happened in the NBA up until now. You know what I'm trying to say? So I mean, these guys' careers could be over in 5 years. Done. Obi's career, even though he's like so popular, his career could be over in 5 years. Injuries, or just maybe his athleticism wanes down and he just never recovers from it and becomes a nobody in 5 years. That can happen. That happens throughout sports in general, since the beginning of time. So it is what it is, man. We got to take advantage of the situation now and just move on from there, Keith Turner, Fournier ain't taking no bench role, not in his lifetime. Listen, man, you could say that, but I mean that's you saying that. Fournier, based on the way Fournier keeps it up, especially with the way that they play in France and stuff like that, he didn't complain about his role. He was just more about his countrymen, his team, and stuff like that. So I mean, this is Keith Turner talking, not Fournier. That's the problem with the conversation too. This is when people say stuff, just because you say it don't mean it's right. Or don't mean it's true. You say this, but Fournier doesn't say that. And you can go back to what the way when you see Fournier give interviews and stuff, he doesn't talk this way. I'm not giving up mine. He doesn't talk that way. Other players have talked that way, but Fournier doesn't talk that way. You got Bricks Nation, Brunson and Murray backcourt. Yep, talking about the past. We got Evan. I think Evan has a lot left. I think he has a lot left too. But in the grand scheme of things, like I said, we got three top guys. We're talking about Julius, RJ, and Brunson. What's left for Fournier? What's left for Mitchell Robinson? So, these guys are gonna have to play roles within the offense there. But like what a lot of us are saying that Fournier has a lot left in the tank. Basically, just being a backcourt mate to Brunson. Let's not talk so focused about defense because they could be adequate defenders. What I'm saying, especially with certain defenders in front that can actually fill slots in the team defense and that type of thing. But as far as Evan Fournier being a ball handler and a facilitator to help other guys get open and maybe get the ball back to shoot it, that's something that's offense wise. That definitely Evan Fournier has a lot left in the tank when it comes to that. So definitely, like every conversation, I can agree with everything that people are saying. Even my man Keith Turner, I can agree with you. But when we get into the conversation, rather than just like what you say and what I say, let's get into the conversation and we'll find out what the truth is in between there. I mean, we can do that through conversation, though. Not through you yelling at me and I'm yelling at you and who's better, who's smarter, and that type of dumb shit that people like to get themselves into nowadays. Fournier, in his prime of his career, he ain't taking. Yeah, if you say so, that's if we knife fighting in the back alley somewhere, But when it comes to team sports, it's a little bit different, man. You know. Cam is another player that has obviously there's a lot of people that need to improve and need to prove things for themselves and for the team, and just for us in general because we out here in the streets just like how they are, man. So another thing too before I get out of here, people talk too much about all these guys. He's in the gym, he's working out, this that, and the other. Listen, man, I'm out there in these streets. I'm making money and support my family too. So don't make somebody's just because they're a basketball player make it seem like their life is so much more harder than yours. That's another thing that's missing from the conversation too. When you're young, like you like to idolize these players. Once you get older, you realize that all that shit ain't nothing. It don't mean nothing because when it comes down to it, a lot of these basketball players end up being in the same spot you are. You know what I'm trying to say? And you just become back to normal, back to a regular human life. You know what I'm trying to say? So once you get that perspective as an older person, you kind of get it. Some young people get it too. Because there's a lot of great people out there that I've noticed on Twitter that the people are posting other people's podcasts and stuff, little clips. I see guys really going hard, talking basketball, having really good conversations, and it's really dope to see that. Young guys, I'm talking about young guys in their early 20s, really having great basketball conversations, giving good facts and stuff like that, and not just talking on the realm of their imagination. They're talking about real facts and stuff. So I would love for it for the conversation to get back to that in the Knicks space. The shock stuff. We need to nip that stuff in the bud and really get back to what we're good at, because we are supposed to be the best fan base, right? The most knowledgeable fan base in the world. We need to bring it back to that. Bring it back to the basketball conversations. Yo, that's a good one too. Courtney Lee. If he's Courtney Lee, that's not a bad thing. Courtney Lee, plays some good basketball. Courtney Lee was an asshole though, not for nothing. I sat courtside a couple times listening to Courtney Lee shout things out, and he was kind of a dick, Courtney Lee. So Courtney Lee, uh, personality wise, is the opposite of Quentin Grimes. But game wise, I get it. I totally get it. I could totally see that. The comparison there. But if Quentin Grimes is Courtney Lee, then he's gonna be out of here before long. All right, listen, this will be my last. Let me get down to my last comment. I could do this all day, like Captain America. Shout out to Captain America. Yeah, as of right now, Fournier is better than Grimes, and that's okay. In regards to offensive bag, Grimes has yeah, obviously, but he has to prove it, because, like I said, Cam Reddish has the best bag in the whole team. But look what that's gotten him. He effort is always gonna effort, knowledge, and wisdom, experience, and stuff are always gonna trump somebody that has talent, and that's a fact of life. You know, I still can't believe the Hawks got Murray for. I can't believe it either. The fix is in, but look at what Atlanta's thinking. If you want to talk about Atlanta Bricks Nation, look at what Atlanta is thinking. They got Trey Young, but he said, we got one of the best point guards in the NBA, but you know what? We need another one. What is that? What does that say to you? We got one of the best point guards in the NBA. You know what? Let's get another one. That means that Trey Young can't defend his position. That's number one. They're going to try to hide Trey Young by putting somebody that can defend his position, that has height. So they're going to try to hide Trey Young. That's number one. That's already one strike against them. So just having that strike against them, when Trey Young plays against us, he's going to have to go against RJ. He's going to have to go against Jalen Brunson. And you can't hide. You can't hide for so long. Cam Reddish is out there. Quentin Grimes is out there. You know what I'm trying to say? Fournier's out there. So, Trey Young is going to have to guard Fournier. Fournier can shoot over that little rat. You know what I'm trying to say? So, listen, I don't like to talk about other teams, but listen, that tells me everything I need to know, that they went and got another point guard to play with Trey Young. You know what I'm trying to say? That tells me everything I need to know. Yeah, man. Los Knicks, what's good, man? Yeah, Los Knicks, I gotta make it up to you. Like I said, next time I do a giveaway, and if you're here, maybe I'll put your name in there twice or a couple times to make sure I give you more of an opportunity to win the next giveaway that I do, because I did screw in a last giveaway. Pistons won. Look what they had on the roster. Yes, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. This will be the last comment here. So, the Pistons, when they won, they had a ragtag team. A bunch of It was deep. They had Jerry Stackhouse. They had Rip Hamilton. They had a bunch of guys on the roster, and they were winning. They didn't go to the championship, which was the same year. They didn't go to the championship until they traded some of those guys for Rasheed Wallace, and then that made them a complete team. And then they still had excess players from their rebuild to fill in spots, and then they still had other guys, to fill in spots. Some guys even went on to be starters in the NBA. That was young people on their bench and stuff. Shout out to Mike James. Shout out to the center that they had him, not Darko. They had another center on that squad that actually went on to be a starter in the NBA as well. So they had quite a few players, man. Even some old school guys like I can't think right now, but they still had a solid roster, even after the trades. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks are in the same boat where we got like 15 guys literally that we can go to. So if we was to make a trade, like make a Rasheed Wallace type trade and get somebody in here to be the last piece to the puzzle, we'll still have plenty of guys to pull from off the bench to give us a solid bench to take us into the playoffs. So check that shit out. You know what I'm saying? So that could possibly happen, because like I'm trying to tell you, that it's already written that could possibly happen. Like I said, Leon Rose already said that he's going to be aggressive in trying to build the roster going forward. So we'll see. So if all our guys are winning as a ragtag group and everybody needs minutes, once we get to a certain spot, if that Rasheed Wallace figure is available, I'm talking about Devin Booker or whoever else that you might think that could fit into this roster at the time is available. We can make that trade for that player. And then now all of a sudden maybe we're in contention now to make it to the finals and possibly win. Anything has happened because it happened before. And Detroit is only one team. There's plenty of teams out there in the NBA that's done things and has pushed themselves into the stratosphere of history. You know what I'm trying to say? So anyway, that's it, guys. This is your boy Iru. I got a couple other things I need to do today, kind of pushing it a little too far here today. But I appreciate you guys for popping in here, midday podcast. For those that popped on here at the end, please go to the beginning and listen to what I was saying, building the story for Quentin Grimes, Fournier, and what's going forward here and what we're talking about at the moment here, man. So shout out to everybody that popped in. Once again, I appreciate everybody. Like I said, please subscribe before you get up out of here. Please hit the thumbs up before you get up out of here. And I see you guys next time, man. You might see me later today, because sometime in the evening I'll be free. So I might be able to do something a little later, man. So shout out to the chat, shout out to all the Knicks Nation out there. I'm out of here. Eru out, forefinger to the forehead, tucking the thumb, salute. And I see you guys next time, man. Eru out. Peace.